Hi and welcome to Dreaming in Fibre. My name is Sarah and I am your host. You can find me at sarastexturecrafts.com. I'm about to have a visitor. Let's see if she'll come and say hello. Are you going to come and say hello today? It's that way. Say hello. That's it. Hello. This is just a very quick podcast today. I wasn't sure I would get time, and to be honest, I kind of haven't really got a huge amount of time, so I'm going to make it really quick, and then we'll have a bigger episode at the beginning of August. So if we start with a couple of things from sarastexturecrafts.com, and I apologise for the rustling, nosy dog is being nosy. No, you can leave that alone. That's for me, that is. So I thought I would start with a couple of Sarah's Texture Crafts things, and then we can get on to sort of general chat, what I've been crafting and so on. So let's start with Fibre Club 5, Yarn Club 1, Pack 2 for both of those. The colourway this time, I think pretty much everybody has theirs now. If not, then it is on its way. It probably overseas people who are without at the moment. But this is they. This is colour Calypso, and sorry, the yarn looks a bit washed out there. Yeah, you can see it a bit better there. It is more saturated, and I will insert a picture here. And this is on the Merino Superwash, which you would have got if you were in the Luxe Club. It was Polworth if you were in the 100% Wool Club. So there's your colours. The inspiration, well, I guess I've been inspired by watching the World Cup. This isn't a direct reference to Brazil itself, but it's certainly a sort of reference to the enjoyment of dance and that kind of thing that is, to me, reminiscent of Brazil, you know, party and dance. So I hope everyone enjoys their club, and I will be releasing these colours in September on the website sarastexturecrafts.com. So that's that. The next club I hope to show you in 1 or 2 podcast time, and that will be the final pack for this club. And then I think probably in the next podcast I will announce the opening of the new spots. So if you are in any way interested to sign up for a 3-month club of fibre or yarn, then contact, well, actually probably the best thing to do is to pop your email address into the alert slots on the item listings on sarastexturecrafts.com. That way you will get an immediate email alert the moment those listings go live. And it has kind of all the details of what to expect and fibre bases and prices and so on. I may tinker with the pricing, and I'll talk about that more at the time, but essentially what will happen is that rather than paying for shipping separately, you'll be paying for shipping all within the item price. That way, if you buy Yarn Club and then you buy you know, a bunch of other fibre and you want that fibre delivered first, then I can afford to send you 2 different shipments basically. And then obviously if you just buy the club, then it's just one upfront cost. You will have to select your country of origin, so there will be slight changes there, but pop in an email, you'll get an alert, and then the listing will be very clear as to what those changes are and price information and so on. But right now there is a price guide up there, and the choice of fibres and so on. Okay. What else do I need to tell you? Oh, 25% off sale on my blends. I can't remember if I mentioned this last time, so very quickly, all of my merino blends and merino silk blends, the commercial ones that I've basically stocked since forever, 2007, 2008, something like that, I'm now discontinuing those in favour of doing much more regular, updated variations of colour. So there's still a few items left in there. If you have already participated, then thank you ever so much. And if you would still like to grab some of that, some of those blends before they go, then please hurry on over to sarastexturecrafts.com, where you will be able to find the stock that's left. The new blends, I already have them. They were released at the last show I did, which I'll talk about in a moment. And they will get onto the website in August, hopefully beginning of August, but it really depends on time versus production for the September run of shows that I've got, and how much stock I've got left versus how much I need to keep back for those shows. So at some point they will be up there certainly, and I've got lots more of ideas for new colourways and things, so keep an eye out for those, but shop the sale first to grab a bargain. I don't think there's anything else shop news wise that I need to sort of let you know about. So let's talk about shows. It is, what, the 16th of July today, so the next show is Killerton, which starts on Saturday of this week, and that's Saturday and Sunday at Killerton House in Exeter. It's going to be a small show for me, but I think it will be fun. I think it will be quite interesting because there's a textile exhibition that goes on with that, and there are going to be lots of demonstrations on dyeing and felting and spinning and so on. And then after that, of course, the big one for me, which will be the following weekend, is Fibre East. There I will have a much wider selection of product. So if you're in the area and able to make either of those, please pop by and say hello. If you're not, again, shop the website. I have lots of pre-orders available on colours, so you can start booking those, and I'll start dyeing those from August now. I think that's kind of it really, show-wise, coming up. So I'll give a quick mention to the Exeter Weavers. Sorry, that's tractors going past. It's that time of year, starting to harvest hay and things, I think it is, they're bringing in at the moment. So, Exeter, last weekend, it was the Weavers, Spinners and Dyers Guild Fleece Day. It was the Devon branch. So I was at their sort of HQ, if you like, at America Hall, Pinhoe in Exeter. Had a lovely day. It was very well attended. I think the weather made a huge difference on that front, so thank you. I did alright, did really well, and that kind of made up, I think, for you know, the previous show not being quite so good due to the fantastic weather that we had at the time. So it gave me, you know, a bit of sort of impetus to get cracking and started with production for the next two shows. It's also given me an opportunity to put some of the new ideas I have into action. So as we talk about this, I think it's really important to say a huge thank you to everybody who has shopped the sale, not just the blend sale that I'm having at sarastexturecrafts.com, but also the other various odds and sundries that I've got in the sale over there as well. Between you all, you have cleared a huge space in my little stock room, so it means that I now have room to move the hand dyed section over a bit so that I can start to allow for some of those other products that I've had sort of whirring away in the brain for the last sort of 2 years and haven't really been able to do anything about. So I'm gradually working my way through this long, huge list of product ideas that I've got in my little sketchbook that I keep. So that's been really nice. Some of those will preview at Fibre East. So check those out. Again, I hope to have them released on the website as soon as possible. I'm hoping for August. It really depends on how much production I need to do. So as I say, I think that's it for shop and kind of show news and that kind of thing. So I'm going to get into the spinning and knitting, and then I'll show you a couple of things that I purchased at the weekend. Okay, not a huge amount. I'm not going to show you what's on the needles, purely because, well, one of them is kind of similar to one of the finished products that I'm about to show you, and then the other one is a secret knit for a new pattern. I've also finished 2 new patterns as well, so I hope to have in the near future 3. I think I've got the 4th one that I'm trying to finish now, but I hope to have 3 to 4 new patterns soon, so I'll tell you much more about those when they get released. But yeah, so beyond that I haven't done a huge amount of knitting, so I'll show you what I have finished. And that is my Rosemore socks. Again, the colour's not fantastic there. So I'm going to insert a picture here. And as you can see, they are bright and colourful and lovely, and they've come out really well, and I'm really pleased with those. I probably should put them on some sock blockers, shouldn't I? Let me just reach out of shot. Sorry for the clacking. Oh, okay. I put those on some sock blockers. The colourway for this is going to be released in September, because this is from the first pack of my yarn club, the current yarn club. So I know a few people are already waiting for it, so what I've decided to do is I will dye up a batch, and then I will have a slot for pre-orders as well, and then I will dye those up as custom orders as soon as I can, depending on demand. Okay, so there we go. Basic vanilla sock. I did slight variation on the rib. I just knit through the back of the stitch instead of the front of the stitch, and they were really nice to knit. Really enjoyed the colour change. This is quite an unusual colourway for me to sort of gravitate towards. I'm not a huge pinky person. You probably sort of rolling your eyes a bit if you see the website. It's pink. But yeah, I mean, I'm personally not a huge pinky person. I tend to wear sort of reds or purples or greys or blacks or navies. So bright coloured pinks with sort of acid greens and things is a bit different for me. But I enjoyed knitting it, and I think I'm really going to enjoy wearing them. They fit really nicely as well. So I'm really looking forward to knitting this one up, which is my skein. Not entirely sure what I'm going to knit next, but again, this is a colour that I wouldn't normally gravitate towards, but actually I think I'm going to really enjoy knitting it, and I'm going to definitely push myself to wear some new colours. The other thing I finished also sort of shows you a bit of some of the things that I've been working on behind the scenes. So not only sort of completely new product offer, if you like, but also working on different dye techniques as well for the hand dyed range. So this looks like a giant tube. It's a cowl that I knit. I think it's called the Global Nomad. I'm going to pop that along here, and then you'll find the link to it in the show notes. I knit the small version. If I can see if I can get a bit closer. Yeah, I knit the small version, and it has you know, nice eyelet areas, bit of a plain knit, then back to eyelet and garter, and then obviously the rib. I knit mine quite deep because I had extra yarn and I really wanted to use it all because the dye technique is new for me. But I also increased the width stitches as well, so I think the small should actually be quite snug and would probably have come to about, yeah, maybe about there. But you could do a wide one as well that, you know, you can wear as like a little poncho. The reason why, sorry, I messed up my hair. I did make an attempt today to look nice. It's really stormy outside and I've just walked the dog, so I look a bit of a hot mess, but yeah, I was trying some new things. I thought I'll make an attempt to look nice for a change. So yeah, the reason why I chose this pattern is I wanted a quick mindless knit, but I also wanted to try out this new yarn colouring idea. Now, it's something I've had in my mind for a couple of years, but I've not been able to find the time or the space actually to do it. And this is partly comes from conversations I've had with many people who've asked me, would I be willing to start doing self-striping yarn because they, you know, enjoyed the way that I put colours together. And my answer has always been self-striping yarn is, you know, impossible for my current setup. And I think it would still be extremely difficult. To give you an idea, this is a variegated yarn. If I just pull that apart, this is how I do my kettle dyeing. So you can see the colours are dispersed along the length, and from skein to skein they will vary. And so you can't really use that method for self-striping. I think to get a really good self-striping you probably need to be a bit more of a hand painter, and that requires a lot more room than I have and a lot more time than I have. Using this method, that's a really badly put together skein there. You couldn't tell this was my profession, would you? But using this method for dyeing, I can do 4 kilos a day, which means 40 skeins a day. If I used a pan method, I believe, for example, if you watch Dramatic Knits, Steve talks about doing over 100 skeins a day, 120 skeins a day, and I think that's because he uses the pan method where he gets several pans in the oven at once and he can have, I think, 3 or 4 skeins in a pan, whereas my dye lots are 2, basically, two in a saucepan. Well, actually I use big sort of jamming pots. So anyway, I can get 40 of these done a day. This method, if I was to skein all of this up, I'm sure some of you are aware on how it's skeined, it would take me, I could probably do 2 of these a day. 2 of these a day, from 40 of these a day. So it significantly cuts down production. The reason being, for those of you who are unfamiliar with the technique, normally my skeins of yarn come in a hank already, so all I've got to do is rinse them, dye them, rinse them, dry them, and then reskein them, label them, and so on. To do this method, I need to take my skein, I need to put it on my skein winder, cake it into a ball on my ball winder. I then need to get out my warping board, which I use for weaving. On there I have marked out, you know, or I have in my mind so many revolutions on this group of pegs, so on that group of pegs, and so on the final group of pegs. You know, and you go from there, and then obviously you've got to tie it all up, you've got to prepare it for dyeing, You've then got to rinse it all, dye it, dry it. Once it's dry, you've got to then put it on your skein winder, and then either skein it onto a niddy noddy or put it onto another, what do I call it? Sorry, you caught me midway through production and my head hurts today, so I probably shouldn't be doing this, but I've got another skein winder that just winds in a different way. If you're an Ashford user, you may have seen the wooden skein winder, which skeins on the side rather than round on the top. And anyway, I would do that, and then it would go back into a skein, and then I would need to label it and so on. So it vastly cuts down production to do this method. So what I've decided is that rather than doing self-striping, which I may do at some point in the future, but at the moment what I'm going to do is a colour block number. Not necessarily these colours, this is just purely a tester in my kind of colours, blues and greys and gunmetals and navies. And then I can produce a skein of yarn that has colour blocks, and that's what I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it colour block skeins instead of self-striping skeins. Will I offer these en masse in the shop? No. They will appear every so often, and every skein will be a unique one-off. So although you will be able to see in the skein, because I'll cake them up, you'll be able to see what colours are in the skein. You won't have an exact meterage on colour block A, colour block B, and so on. Just because I haven't actually sat and worked that out. I suppose I could, maybe I should. Maybe I should decide that and do it. But yeah, as I say, they're going to be irregular one-offs. So what I'll do is I'll put a little limited edition or one-off section on the website under the yarns, under the knitting yarn, so that you can buy whichever of those you fancy, but you won't be able to get a repeatable version of it. They will literally be one-offs. And I think that'll be fun because it will give us an opportunity to play with colour. I may look at getting longer skeins for those. Normally I have 100 gram skeins, but I might look at doing, say, 150 grams in 4-ply weight. So give me a shout if you have particular ideas in mind of the kind of products that you would like to make with this. Then let me know. I mean, I still have a tiny bit left from 100 grams, and I made this long cowl. There's no reason why you couldn't make a small shawlette. If you had 150 grams, obviously it would be slightly longer. So yeah, give me a shout on that. You can either PM me directly on Ravelry, I'm Sarah's Texture Craft over there, or just jump onto the website sarastexturecrafts.com and drop me a message via the contact form. It would be really helpful to hear what you think and find out your ideas. And you can throw out some colourway ideas as well if you'd like. Who knows? I mean, if it's just a one-off thing that I do every now and again and I get a small batch together, maybe I can throw in a couple of custom order slots. I don't know. That might be pushing it, but we'll see. So that's kind of it for knitting. I do have some spinning. I have 5 skeins of spinning lovelies. Two of these, and you'll have to forgive, I've got the little skein ties in there still. these two are they're my colourway Creek, which is a gradient dye on Blueface Leicester, and I've spun these up in different ways as part of my How to Spin Gradient Yarn series. So if you're interested in taking a look at that, I'm going to pop a link on the website. I'll also pop a link in the show notes here at dreaminginfibre.blogspot.com, and you can also find it linked in the Ravelry group, and all of that information is basically being put onto my blog at craftsoftexture.com. So if you're in doubt, give me a shout and I will send you the link. There you go, there was a little rhyme for you. But that was 2 of those. So from saying to myself I wouldn't be doing any spinning pre-show, or enough to be able to put myself in for Tour de Fleece, I think I've been doing quite well. I think it's kind of in the evening after I've done all my dyeing, and then there's been hand carding and labelling and all kinds of stuff, packaging and so on. I think my adrenaline's still been quite high, so I've been keen to either get on the wheel or just play with knitting and so on. So I think this is probably where this came from. I probably won't get a huge amount of time in the next couple of weeks to do anything more than what I've done, but it's been nice. I've enjoyed it. Again, these have got skein ties on them. They're the lime green, so ignore those. But these, and again, you can't see decent colour. I'm not going to insert a picture here because I will show you these again next time. And these are basically 2 samples from a couple of new blend colourways that I will have in. So I'll show you those more in detail next time and take a lovely picture for you. The final one is from some of my Rolags. And if I remember right, off the top of my head, this is colour Morocco. Again, I've got the skein ties in there, so there's not the blue in there, but it's that sort of fuchsia, brick red, and sort of olivey colour. And yeah, I quite enjoyed spinning that. That was a quick and dirty spin. I never hode plied it, so I don't think there's going to be a huge yardage on that. But I might knit it into a little monster, or I might knit a little cardie for a Teddy's jumper, something like that, for one of my nieces. So that's that one. And that's kind of it really for what I've been working on. Show you a couple of my purchases, and then I'm probably going to leave you for today because I haven't got a huge amount else to say, and I've got lots of fibre I need to dry before I can do my next batch of 4 kilos. So on Saturday there was quite a few other traders, so it was a nice excuse on the few minutes of downtime I had to sort of get around and say hi to everybody, but also to do a little bit of personal shopping. So this was the first thing I bought. It's opal, and I'm hoping, yeah, that's kind of close to the colour actually. You've got greys, purple, lime greens, and more sort of foresty olive green, and a sort of white printed purple in there. And this is now, I don't speak German at all, so I'm assuming that's like 10-year opal anniversary or something. And I'm assuming this little bird here is the colourway inspiration. It's a bird of paradise of some sort, but I don't know that it says. Oh, Congo Sally is the name. There's a little tiny picture there that might give you an indication of how that knits up. So it's a fake Fair Isle sort of self-striping, if you like. The article number is 8467 and the colourway number is 990. and that is their 75% virgin wool and 25% polyamide. I have a feeling this might be 150 grams. Oh no, it's 100 grams, 425 metres, so there's a fair old amount in there. So I'm looking forward to knitting that up. I don't know yet what it wants to be, but I'm looking forward to that. And then the last thing I bought is from Amanda Crafts on Etsy, www.mandacrafts.co.uk, and this is her space dyed yak and silk in the ultraviolet colourway. I got 100 grams, and that's probably pretty true to colour. It's purples, various shades of pinks and purples, over dyed on the yak and silk, which looks like a sort of brown and white blend. I've actually got some yak and silk downstairs that I was hoping to play with, so this has been quite nice actually to see how it dyes up, because I've been a little bit scared to sort of get it out and dye it because I didn't know how fragile it would be, but seeing it dyed up by somebody else is gives me a bit more confidence now to crack on with it. I've also got cashmere silk, I've got baby camel and silk, and there's something else I've got as well. And I bought them to dye up for Wonderwall and just didn't get a chance, and then I kept looking at them to dye up for Fibre East, and as it happens, things have been so busy on the website that I've sort of spent most of my time re-dyeing colours so that I have hopefully something of most of the colours to represent at Fibre East. So I've not really been able to have a day to sort of play with those, because obviously when you start dyeing a new fibre, particularly something that's expensive like the cashmere and silk that I've got and the alpaca and silk that I've got, and delicate as well, I want to and need to be really careful on timings and versus heat and things like that, because I do change my temperatures from fibre to fibre, and I find that really does help. But now that I've seen this dyed up, I think I want to have a go, but this is so soft, and it's a lovely colour, and it's going to be for me. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but it's going to be for me. So I'm really pleased with that. I'm really pleased with my little purchases. As I say, it was really nice to say hello to everybody at the show, and I'm really looking forward to the next 2 weeks as well. So yeah, lots to do, lots to think about, lots to pack still. I hope that, you know, kind of whatever you've been doing the last couple of weeks since we spoke, that you've been enjoying the weather. It's not been too bad here. The forecast actually coming up to the weekend is supposed to be pretty bad. So I'm not sure whether to look forward to Saturday or not, because we're actually in a marquee outside Killerton House, and that could go one of two ways. So keep your fingers crossed for me. In the meantime, I guess I should love you and leave you, and just wish you a really lovely day and a lovely couple of weeks. And next time I hope to at least have some photos of all of the shows, and maybe some video from Fibre East. I'm going to try and keep a bit of a video diary. So I will catch you then. Until then, I hope you dream in fibre. See you later, guys. Cheers.